Okay, this is a lesson on the multiple inversions of the G chord as used by Reverend Gary Davis. So the hardest one, in my opinion, is this bad boy right here. So it's the D shape, except you're using second, third, fourth finger, and you're bringing it up here so that it is now a G chord. So when that shape is in first or root position down here as a D, the open fourth string is the root of the chord. So if you're going to take that shape and move it up, and you want to have the root in the bass, so to speak, you're going to need to fret it with your first finger. So up here, 5th fret, 4th string is the G. So it's a bitch of a chord to make. And ideally, you would just be able to put this sucker down all at once, as the Rev does, but mortals are not going to be able to do that. So what I suggest is 2 fingers, middle 2 fingers first, and then whatever comes next, depending on how the song is bringing you into the chord. So you want to become comfortable with this shape, and it might take you some time to become comfortable. It's a matter of physical, muscle, motor, memory. All right. So the main thing is that your fingers, like my little finger, is actually coming in on an angle like this because it's just the way my hand is designed. Middle 2 fingers are pretty much coming straight down. My first finger is actually coming in opposite of my little finger. I'd like to have them all angled kind of like this, but look, as long as you're fretting it cleanly. So once you walk into that shape, you want to become comfortable with it, and an easy way, in my opinion, to become comfortable with any new chord is to take that shape and move it all over the guitar. So I'll just use the Reverend Gary Davis roll on the top 4 strings, and I'll take it and I'll move this chord all over. And as I'm moving it, my fingers will release tension. Can't really see that probably in my wrist, but they never leave the strings. So you don't want the least amount of movement in between any chord is the best way to go. If you've got a common note of the 2 chords that you're going to or coming from, then you want to keep that finger there. So in this shape, like I'm exerting energy and pressure, I can feel it in my forearm to make the chord. Then I release the pressure. I'm sliding it down 1 fret. And there you go, slide it down again. This actually becomes harder as you get closer to the nut because your fingers are spaced wider apart and there's more tension on the strings. Okay, so to make it interesting and to utilize your practice time well, use the Davis roll because you want to be very comfortable with the Davis roll. So that's thumb, index, thumb, thumb, index, index, thumb, index. Let me say that again. Thumb, index, thumb, thumb, index, index, thumb, index. I'm using 1 finger and thumb. It's the only way to get that sound. If you're a 2-finger guy, you're never going to get that roll to sound right unless you just use thumb and index finger. It has to do with the thumb coming down on the higher strings. It gives you the accent. So if we make this chord, and look, I can feel this on my arm just from holding this shape for a while. You've got to, just get used to that, so to speak. Take it up. So in between movements, you're releasing pressure and energy in your hand, which you will need. It's anytime you can find a place to relax in a song is critical. I learned that from my classical piano teachers, playing huge half-hour Bach pieces and stuff. You got to find a place to not exert so much energy. And this chord takes energy. So when I usually come into this chord, it's these 2 fingers. So even if I'm sliding into with the middle 2 fingers as a partial, I'll just wrap these guys in. when I get to the place where I'm going to be. I know I definitely do that in Death Don't Have No Mercy. Now, coming to this chord from below or above. If you're coming to this chord G, in this particular place, from above, you're usually coming from the next inversion of the G. So you want to be able to go from there to here. And the key to this, in my opinion, is this fourth string again. Okay? So pinch and strum is a great way. It's very Davis-esque. He's very chord and melody oriented. And then you're going up. So that's... You've got to move all your fingers. There's no common finger. If we're coming from the next inversion down, G, F-shaped G, your second finger is on the third string, and that is just going to come up. So when you're going like from the G here, and you come up to this G shape, don't let your second finger leave the third string. It's like your guide to get you where you want to go. And then the next G below this is where he uses his thumb and gets the B there and here. So to play Oh Glory How Happy I Am, for example, you're going to need these four inversions of the G chord. So if you can't go cleanly between these four inversions, you're going to have a hard time playing that song, and it is not an easy song. First position G, I would say third position G, whatever, next inversion, up to that guy, up to this guy. Okay? So those are all G's, going from one to the other. The progression that he does a lot is he will go from C7th up to D7th, and this is partial, just the top four strings. When he plays the full D7th, he's going to grab the two bass notes with his thumb. Same with down here. This is a big dominant 7th chord. But in this, you only need the top four strings. So it's going to go from that D7th up to the G. So that's progression you want to practice all by itself, on its own. And in Oh Glory, he actually gets to that, not open, but the C chord. The C is through the open D string. So there's an ascending bass line. And that's the middle voice, I say, because the bass notes are usually down here on the 6th or 5th string. So it's in any of Davis's music, to really focus on the inner voice is critical to me in learning the song and how you look at it, because the lower notes and the higher notes are just going to come out naturally. But that ascending line, any kind of contrapuntal line, is the key to his sound. And then we go up here as far as Oh Glory. So practice these G shapes going from one to the other. Make up your own little exercise, so to speak. So focus on maybe one string to make sure that string comes out, and then the next time through focus on another string. But those inner voice lines are critical. And again, this shape, to me, it's so much easier if you let your middle two fingers be the guide to to get you where you want to go with that chord shape. Okay, so hopefully that'll help or give you an idea of how to practice this chord. And it's worthwhile. I mean, to me, I've been playing this chord for decades, and it's still not an easy chord to play. But if you approach it the right way, it's definitely doable, I think. And if you really want to play songs like Oh Glory or Samson and Delilah, you're going to need to learn this chord. And Death Don't Have No Mercy. I mean, you're really going to need it for that. All right? So hopefully that helps.